A ceiling panel drops without warning inside a functioning corridor. Nothing else changes. The system around it keeps moving. Infrastructure does not fail suddenly. It degrades across intervals that no single inspection is designed to catch. Maintenance schedules are written around budget cycles. Budget cycles do not follow material fatigue. The gap between them is where failure waits. Procurement moves on annual timelines. Physical systems degrade on their own timelines. These two curves rarely intersect at the right moment. A component that functions today is recorded as functioning. That record becomes the assumption for the next inspection cycle. When a threshold is passed, the record does not update automatically. The gap between reality and documentation grows quietly. Institutions that pass audits regularly become confident in the audit as a proxy for actual condition. The audit does not measure what degrades between visits. A corridor that passes inspection is classified as maintained. Classification and condition are not the same measurement. The parts that wear fastest are usually the parts with the highest contact frequency. High use is rarely the trigger for early replacement. Components are often replaced in batches, not individually. A batch replacement cycle misses the component that failed early and the one that will fail late. Systems designed for average load behave correctly until demand concentrates. Concentration is not planned for, it is absorbed until absorption fails. The infrastructure that carries the most demand is also the infrastructure that receives the least margin for downtime. It cannot be taken offline to be fixed. A coupling failure is not a single part breaking. It is the moment one failure is transmitted to an adjacent system that was functioning correctly. Most infrastructure was not designed to be coupled at current scale. The coupling happened gradually, through use, not through planning. The record of each addition exists in separate documents. No single document contains the whole system as it currently exists. The person responsible for a system section often knows less about adjacent sections than the system assumes they do. This is not negligence. It is a boundary condition built into the role. Role boundaries protect accountability. They also prevent the lateral view that would reveal system-wide risk accumulation. Inspection visits are typically scheduled, not random. Systems that know when they will be observed behave differently from systems observed at random, even without human intent. The difference between the inspected surface and the operating interior is not deception. It is a structural gap that scheduled visibility cannot close. This pattern appears across infrastructure at every scale. The surface presented for review is rarely the surface under operational stress. Deferred maintenance is not a decision made once. It is a decision renewed each cycle, each time the budget closes before the repair order opens. Each deferral moves the failure date forward. It does not cancel the failure. The deferred item accumulates interest in the form of accelerated degradation. The cost of repair at detection is a fraction of the cost of repair after failure. The system does not calculate this ratio until after the failure event. Emergency repair disrupts the systems adjacent to the one being fixed. A single failure event typically suspends multiple functioning processes simultaneously. When emergency repairs are frequent enough, the system normalizes them. They are reclassified as operational events rather than signals of structural deficit. Normalization of emergency response is the point at which the system stops treating the symptom as information. The signal disappears into routine. The warehouse anchor returns at a different load state. The same shelves now carry less, but the structure below them has absorbed more cumulative stress than any single load event recorded. Reduced load does not reverse accumulated structural fatigue. The material remembers every cycle, even when the load above it decreases. Fatigue is invisible in static inspection. It only becomes readable through measurement instruments or through failure. Most facilities use the second method. A gauge past its threshold is only information if someone is present to read it. Instruments that report to no active reader function as decoration. Monitoring systems are maintained on the same budget cycles as the infrastructure they monitor. When funding tightens, sensor coverage contracts before the physical systems do. The gaps in sensor coverage are not mapped centrally. Each removal is a local decision. The cumulative blind spot is nobody's specific responsibility. Blind spots compound. A failure in a zone without sensor coverage does not trigger an alert. The first record of its existence is the failure itself. Secondary damage follows the primary failure path. Each adjacent material or system that absorbs the failure expands the repair scope by a factor the original estimate did not include. The repair scope that emerges from investigation is always larger than the failure that triggered the investigation. This is not an anomaly. It is the expected output of deferred maintenance. Expanded repair scope delays facility restoration. Delayed restoration accelerates degradation in the sections adjacent to the repair zone, which continue to operate under stress during the shutdown period. The bypass becomes load-bearing for the sections it was not designed to serve. Temporary becomes permanent at the moment the original route is assumed unavailable indefinitely. Workarounds that outlive their intended duration become infrastructure. They are then maintained, inspected, and eventually replaced, as if they were always part of the design. The original failure that created the workaround is no longer referenced in any active document. The system has absorbed it as history, which means it can repeat without triggering a familiar response. If these patterns hold across one facility, they hold across the network that facility belongs to. The mechanism does not stop at building boundaries. A network of facilities sharing a maintenance budget is a network of facilities sharing a risk pool. A failure in one node applies cost pressure to the others immediately. Budget reallocation following a failure event reallocates away from preventive maintenance elsewhere in the network. The failure event generates the next deferred cycle. The loop is closed. The repair event of today becomes the deferral condition of tomorrow. The system reproduces its own fragility through the act of fixing itself. The total deferred maintenance backlog across large infrastructure networks is measured in decades of accumulated cycles. It does not appear in any single facility record. The backlog is not hidden. It exists in audits, in facility reports, in procurement delays. What is absent is a system that aggregates it into a total condition assessment. Aggregation failure is structural, not administrative. No individual report is wrong. The problem is that no mechanism exists to combine them into a system-level view. Each facility that operates normally generates the assumption that the network is stable. Normal operation in visible nodes hides deterioration in the nodes that are not currently visible. Structural confidence is distributed unevenly. The parts of a network that are monitored generate confidence about the parts that are not. This is an inference that the system does not validate. Risk in infrastructure networks concentrates in the least visible sections. Visibility itself is a maintenance resource, and it is allocated by the same budget cycle that allocates all others. A system cannot be inspected if it cannot be accessed. Access infrastructure, lighting, walkways, access panels, degrades on its own schedule, independent of the systems it serves. When access infrastructure fails, inspection frequency drops. When inspection frequency drops, the underlying system deteriorates faster between the intervals that remain. The section that cannot be accessed is the section that will produce the unscheduled failure. The physical barrier between inspector and system is sufficient to produce the outcome. The warehouse anchor is now significantly simplified. The shelving that carried peak loads for years has been partially removed. The floor anchor points remain, embedded in concrete, unverified. Decommissioned sections leave behind embedded infrastructure. That infrastructure is now part of the facility record, neither active nor removed, occupying a third category that most systems are not designed to track. When a facility changes use, embedded infrastructure from its previous state introduces constraints the new operation did not design for. The past use is still structurally present. Layered infrastructure from multiple generations of use cannot be fully replaced without suspending operations. So it is not replaced. It is managed around. Infrastructure managed around is infrastructure whose failure mode is unknown. The workarounds create a system architecture that no engineer designed and no model predicts. The most complex infrastructure state exists at the end of a long operational life, just before replacement. This is also the state with the highest failure probability and the least accurate documentation. End-of-life infrastructure is replaced according to budget cycles, not condition cycles. The replacement decision arrives on schedule, not at the moment of highest risk, but at the moment funds become available. Replacement does not reset the risk profile immediately. Adjacent systems that were calibrated to the old equipment's behavior require recalibration. The period of highest risk is the switchover period. New equipment inherits the physical environment of old equipment. Pipe runs, cable routes, and structural mounts designed for a previous system now carry a different load pattern than they were built to expect. The replacement cycle renews the equipment. It does not renew the environment the equipment operates in. The next maintenance cycle begins against a partially legacy substrate. The next budget cycle opens with the new equipment classified as current. The surrounding legacy infrastructure is classified as serviceable. Both classifications are accurate. Neither is sufficient. The inspection form was designed when the system was first installed. The form has not changed. The system has. What the form cannot ask, the inspection cannot find. Documentation systems lag behind physical systems universally. The lag is not a flaw. It is a structural property of institutions that update records through periodic review rather than continuous sensing. The gap between the schematic and the facility is the space in which unknown failure modes develop. This gap exists in every facility of sufficient age and sufficient history of modification. This is not a problem that emerges from negligence at any single point. It is what infrastructure looks like after decades of individually reasonable decisions, each made within the constraints that existed at the time it was made. The system is not broken. It is operating exactly as its accumulated constraints allow. The distinction matters because a broken system invites repair. A constrained system continues. The maintenance schedule for this facility is set. The next inspection is on the calendar. The system will continue operating between now and then, as it has continued operating between every interval before.